You take a generous bite of the cheese and immediately feel more relaxed. And after another bite, oh, right, so cheese was a euphemism. Glad to have learned that. Good morning, this is Calamity calling and I am on a roll today. So I'm going to be playing Choose Your Own Perambulation, and yes, I did have to practice how to say that word. So I played Bertram Fiddle way back when, my own time, mobile game, and then I played the second one, I think, and now we're waiting for the next one to come out, if my memory serves. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But this was just a little thing I found on Itch.io and I thought it was cute. So, serious voices. The year is 1886 and you are a writer, a word-mongerer. Words are like jam to you. You spread them sweetly across the bread of a page, but recently the words have gone mouldy. Nothing seems right. You stare at a blank piece of paper in front of you. It stares back. You sigh. Inspiration is what you need. Looking around the room, you try to find something to spark your imagination, but the meager possessions you own are silent. The dim light from your tiny window only illuminates how bare the room is. You decide that a walk is required that will, no doubt, provide boundless inspiration. Putting on your coat and placing your hat at a jaunty angle, you go outside. As you glide down the uneven stairs onto the crooked street below, your neighbor, Misery Glumptwitch, stops you. What you do? No, sorry.
Where you going?
She asks in a rather intrusive manner. I intend to stroll around Victorian London. I know not where yet, you reply. I am hoping to find something to stimulate my mind that I may write about. She squints at you through the billowing smoke of her pipe.
Haven't you heard about all the strange disappearings that have been happening lately? It ain't safe to just go wandering around willy-nilly.
Her eyes narrow. Especially looking as you do. You bristle a little at her impertinence, but decide to ignore it. Do not fear, Misery. I am known for my ability to make excellent choices. I am sure I will do quite fine. You give a flamboyant wave of your hand as you leave. You can hear her rolling her eyes behind you. Still a little vexed by your conversation with Misery, you turn the corner and realize that you don't really know where you want to go. A walk without purpose is like a dog without a bone. You scan your surroundings and see a wall be posted with notices. You determine that from this wall of announcements you will pick an objective. Reading them several provoke your curiosity. My, what a conundrum! Such exciting possibilities! What do you elect to do? Visit the freak show, purchase some inexplicable ham, or does a refreshing iced gruel seem the answer? Oh, God, no. I do not trust mystery ham. I do not, no, we ain't going there. Iced gruel just, oh my God, even saying it makes me cringe. Can you imagine icy porridge? That's just wrong. So apparently we're going to freak show, which I don't agree with, but the other two just sound appalling. You hail a horse-drawn carriage, and when it comes near, the license plate says Fudge, and it has a dice on the bridle. I don't know how to do gruffly. Where to? Asked the driver gruffly. Morecambe and Bray's freak show, please, you state, trying to sound a bit gruffer than normal. It's by the... I know where it is, interrupts the driver. Get in. Is that gruff? That's the best I can do, I think. You climb inside and are surprised to see a passenger already seated there. It is a rather fishy-looking fellow wearing a somewhat ill-fitting jacket and a battered hat. He doesn't look up from the tumultuous pile of papers on his lap. Pardon me, you inquire. Is it agreeable if I sit here? You indicate to the small amount of seat not covered in contracts and letters and accounts. The passenger continues to rearrange his papers and waves his hands to say, do as you please. You sit down and can't help but study the stranger. His fingers are long and his skin a greenish grey. It has an odd dampness to it. He doesn't look well. His large yellow eyes stare unblinkingly at the various notes and receipts and ledgers. The carriage is bumping and jerking over the cobbles. His papers are jumbling themselves up more and more with each jolt. "No, no, no," the man mutters. "This will never do. We don't have enough barrels." He seems very agitated. You decide to break the silence. Furrowing your brow, you attempt to think of a suitable question. "Are you going to the freak show too?" you ask, immediately regretting it. His head jerks up and he fixes you with a stare. "What did you say?" he snaps. "I'm going to visit the freak show," you stutter, feeling uncomfortable with the way he is scrutinizing you. "I was just wondering if you were going there too." Your voice trails off as you realize it may seem you're implying. The man shakes his head. "No, no, no, I have no such time for frivolities. I have a great deal of work to do." He continues to stare at you. "There is something about your appearance that I like," he says. "You look ready for an adventure. Maybe it's the hat." It's a jaunty angle. "I can't tell. I am getting out at Oddsmouth Harbour, where I've some business to attend to." The man continues with a sinister smile. "Have you been? It is full of the most peculiar sights." The carriage slows and you hear the driver announce, "Oddsmouth Harbour." "Ah," breathes the man, scrambling to gather up his papers. "What a coincidence. I must disembark now. Will you not join me?" No thank you, dude's gonna eat me. Go into 44. As the carriage pulls away, you look out the window. Oddsmouth does indeed seem a very interesting place. You wonder why you've never heard of it before. The man has already disappeared into a maze of tall, thin buildings. The journey continues for some time. You stare out of the window at shops and houses, watching countless people as they bustle about their day, oblivious to you and your quest for ideas. You pass a sign for Turnip Alley, which makes you smile, and you close your eyes and imagine what that might be like. After a short while, the driver stops suddenly. "This is as far as I can go," he shouts to you. "The path is too narrow for my carriage." Apparently he's losing his voice. In the distance you can see the outline of tents. It is eerily quiet. Not a soul can be seen. You wonder if this is going to be as interesting as you had anticipated. Do you tell the driver you've changed your mind and go back to Turnip Alley? Or get out and explore anyway? Both of these sound like I'm gonna die, so I'm gonna go... Do you know what? People think it's silly that I have very specific things I'm superstitious about, like not tempting fate. It's weird, I know. But I'm gonna go to Turnip Alley because I hate that phrase. I don't like it. Ooh, I don't like that either. Turnip Alley turns out to just be a big pile of turnips, and as far as piles of turnips go, it's very impressive. But to call it an alley is misleading. As you walk past a hill of vegetables, a man steps in front of you. "Greetings, stranger." He flourishes a turnip in your face. "Care for a turnip, or perhaps a parsnip?" Do you ignore the root-wielding maniac? Why not? A turnip never hurt no one. I'm pretty sure a turnip has hurt someone, because those things are hard. You lob it at someone's head, they're going down. Let's have a turnip. "How much?" you inquire of the merchant. "Oh, I don't want out for it," laughs the man. "I'm just keen that everyone appreciates the humble turnip as much as I do. They're such a versatile little thing that I am surprised more people don't talk about them constantly." You try not to show your bemusement. I can't do it, I'm terrible. After some time listing all the many varied ways one could potentially use a turnip, he gives you his business card. "Grintled tuber wipe," it reads. "Turnip connoisseur." You thank him and bid him goodbye, but for one reason or another, you have slightly forgotten which way you were going. Freak show. That's where we're going, right? As at last you reach the entrance of the freak show, the mist is rising from the ground and begins to curl over everything. You stride purposefully in the middle of into the muddle of tents and stalls. You read the gaudy signs hanging from them. The world's hairiest egg, the invisible fly, behold the fattest mermaid of them all, Bosiah Stinkpool, the human turtle. But nowhere is any sign of life. The fog has gotten thicker even in the brief time since you have arrived. It gives everything a for real stillness. This place gives me the heebie-jeebies. Yeah, straight up. I ain't here for that. Oh. Scurrying back through the stalls, you hear things moving behind you. Creaks and toots are coming from every direction. Somehow it's already getting dark. Lanterns ignite and tent flaps begin opening as if pulled by invisible strings. A tall figure steps in front of you, blocking your path when you see how two-faced he is. "Run!" he says. "No, you should linger a little longer." He disagrees. You push past him, then, and reach the gateway. Breathing a sigh of relief, you follow the road back into town until you see a signpost. Do you want to go back to Turnip Alley? Or do we want to go to the delightfully sounding Stodgley Square? Yeah, Stodgley Square. That's good. Pausing for a moment to take in the scene, you see a sign telling you that you are in Stodgley Square. You've heard of this place before. It is full of eateries and fashionable people enjoying their disposable income. What's that? Around the square are several shops, including Grotley's Iced Gruel Parlour behind you. In the centre of the square is a small treed area. You see a lady selling tea from one of those newfangled mobile tea machines, all rattling pipes and clouds of steam. It must be very popular, you think, as there is a long line of people in splendid hats queuing for it. Crisscrossing the square are countless deliverat riders on their ponies, running errands and fetching food for the apathetic and obese. You will have to be careful not to get trampled by one of these. As you weigh up the pros and cons of each potential choice, you suddenly become aware that you are very tired. Who knew that making all these decisions could be so exhausting? Decisions are hard, especially when you constantly have to make them and decide everything for yourself. No, I do not want ice gruel. I do not want to go home and enjoy a bit of melancholy. That sounds miserable. There's far too much of that these days. I want a refreshing cup of tea. Which I do actually want a cup of tea. I'm gonna have a cup of tea after this. Look at well, that seems unfortunate. You join the back of the queue at Hennety Gurgle's mobile teapot and wait patiently to get a nice cup of tea. It seems like several hours pass before you reach the front and finally get to order. As soon as you take a sip, though, it all becomes worthwhile. The warm beverage restores your spirits and fortifies your mind. Now, ready for anything, you make plans for your next destination. If you want to head into town, but I've already been to the freak show, so let's go into town. It's the closest I've got to tea. It's what is it? This is like the peach iced tea one. It's quite nice. I don't like many artificial flavours. After a brief amble, you'll find yourself at a crossroads. To your right lane winds its way uphill. Splendid-looking houses stand either side of the road in a neat and tidy manner. To the left lane heads down towards the river. You've never really explored that area before, but it looks rather pleasant. In front of you is the road that leads to a busy-looking marketplace. I want to go to the river. I just want to go outside. No, it's definitely a first world problem, but in my flat, all the lights are skylights, and I'm not tall enough to see out of any of them. So at this moment in time, I haven't been outside in 2.5 weeks now, like between dislocating my knee, working from home, and the skylights. I don't know what pavement looks like anymore. And I don't know what wind feels like either, because all my windows are up so damn high I can't even open them. First world problems, I'm well aware. But yeah, let's go to a lake, a river, because that sounds fantastic. As you start walking down the road, you admire the buildings, which are grand and impressive, towering over your head. You notice a pair of shop fronts and walk over to take a look, keen to see what might be inside. I think I went the wrong way. Sounds about right. The first shop has a large pie sign outside and smells of pie. Discarded pie crust litter the pavement in front of it. I can't judge. I don't eat the crust on sandwiches, pies, or pizzas. Unless it's sourdough. Sourdough I'll make an exception for. Anyway, you deduct that this must be a pie shop. As you study the second storefront, you've become less sure that it's an actual shop. The windows are shuttered, and the small door, which you calculate to be only about 3 feet high, is firmly closed. Knock on the tiny door. The smell of pie is enchanting. You've had enough weird encounters today. You desire a stroll by the river. Back. You want to go back? I do like pie. I did not long have lunch, so I don't know why I'm hungry again. I'm gonna knock on the tiny door, because it's a tiny door. Ah, look at his little hat. Well, big hat, I guess, for him. You knock on the little door, and it is opened by a squat, well-dressed, mousy-looking fellow. Enter, quick! He almost drags you inside. Whiffly squeak, he says, bowing low before you. Welcome to my cheese emporium. Oh, this is the best thing I could have found. You look around at the shelves piled high with all kinds of cheese. The smell is intoxicating. What, pray tell, are you looking for? Asks Wemfley, studying you intently with his sharp eyes. I'm not actually looking for cheese, you explain. I happen to be seeking inspiration. Oh, I see, says the cheesemonger. In that case, may I recommend some of this? He pulls out a cheese of the utmost beauty. It shimmers into the light, and the aroma that curls into your nostrils is sweet and nutty and creamy all at once. I don't understand that. People who say, oh, it has a hint of nutty flavours, and, like with wine and whatnot. Wine tastes like slightly less bitter vinegar, and cheese tastes like cheese. It all just tastes like cheese, and I know I must be a filthy swine not for noticing these flavours, but cheese is cheese, wine is wine. The only alcohol I noticed, I was talking about food. No, I wasn't, I was talking about wine. The only alcohols that I really notice a difference in flavour in is whiskey, because you can tell if it's like a peat based or not, because, the smell is so obnoxious. Oh, pungent, whatever the right word is. And then vodka. There is a very big difference between good vodka and bad vodka. Good vodka has very little flavour to it, really. And bad vodka tastes like nail polish remover. Anyway, I was doing something. Oh yeah, he breaks a piece of it and crumbles it with great delicacy onto a cracker. Would you care to try some? He asked, proffering you the delectable-looking tidbit. It does wonders for the imagination. Well, you do dream crazy things when you have dairy. I could also do with a glass of milk. Why am I hungry? I've had lunch. Go on, why not? You don't do cheese? Who doesn't do cheese? They even have lactose-free cheese now, and vegan cheese. Everyone can do cheese, I think. You take a generous bite of the cheese and immediately feel more relaxed. And after another bite, oh, right, so cheese was a euphemism. Glad to have learned that. After another bite, you are stifling a giggle, and by the time you have finished the cracker, Wemfley and you are chattering away like old friends. You take another cracker, then another. Time flies by. Suddenly you can't stop talking. All kinds of ideas and fancies tumble from your mouth. Wemfley sits laughing at you as you make up the most fantastical stories. It's as if your imagination has no bounds. Many cheese-laden crackers later, you realize it's past midnight and stagger home. You fall asleep, exhausted, your dreams full of tales of wonder and delight. You wake up the next morning, pleased to have rekindled your creativity, but when you try to recall your thoughts later, you find it impossible to do so. Your mind is emptier than ever. You sigh and sit at your desk in quiet despondency, the faint whiff of cheese lingering in your nostrils. Well, took me a while to pick up it was a euphemism, but apparently we need to go get more cheese and we need to bring it home and write the stuff down first. That was what Shakespeare did, wasn't it? He had plenty of cheese when he made up his stories. He has got to be off his nut, honestly, to write A Midsummer's Night Dream. There's no other way that shit came about naturally. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed my perambulation, which I think means wander. Have a go. It's completely free. See what endings you come up. Let me know in the comments. So, I hope you have a very lovely perambulation of your own where it is safe to do so. But most importantly of all, you do you.